What's going on YouTube? It's your boy camATL. Shout out to the DFS squad. Shout out to everybody watching this video right now. Drop a like down below because I already know you're gonna love it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It was a great weekend. My GPP lines, as you guys know, I give six VIP lines to my lineup subscribers that go to greenlightdfs.com and sign up. My VIP lineup subscribers, I give 3 GPP just for those GPP lovers. The GPPs didn't end up doing what GPPs happen to do on occasion. They ended up just not doing very well. They still got damn near 120, but GPP, you want to score like fucking upwards of 200. But cash lines did great. I dropped upwards of 161, cashed in everything. The free line that me and my uncle put together for you guys on Friday scored 156. So just like the other 2 weeks that we've done it, that's 3 weeks in a row that we have given you guys a free lineup that cashes very, very well each time. And the crazy part is we're building it cash based, yet with high upside. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is for the VIP subscription lines now, me and my uncle are going to come together and build the lines like we do the free line, cash based with high upside, and we're going to come together and build those 6 VIP lines for my VIPs now. If you want to become a VIP, go to greenlightdfs.com and get in on that. Instead of just having the one free one that we build, you'll be able to come in and get the VIPs with the other people as well. All right, now we had an amazing week 5. You guys killed the video, man. We got so many views, over 9,000 views, over 400 likes. Me and my uncle were talking, and he was like, man, with 9,000 views, I'm sure the squad could get upwards of like 1,000 likes if they really wanted to. And I was like, you know what? I'm curious. So I'm going to put a challenge out to you guys. Can we get 1,000 or more, or at least close? I don't know if we can get 1,000, but I know I have faith in the squad. So like the video down below. If we happen to clear 1,000 likes on this video, I am going to choose a random commenter. Down in the comment section, you can comment DFS squad, you can comment whatever question you have, that'll count. Anything you want to comment, just comment down below and you will be entered into it. If we hit 1,000 likes on this video, I'm going to select a person and give you $100. You know what? Not just one, let's do 2 people. So 2 commenters down in the comment section. If we hit 1,000 views, I'm gonna give 2 of you $100. So make sure you comment down below in the comment section, guys. Thank you guys for riding with me, man. It was awesome. Let's go ahead and kill it once again, man. We've been killing it lately. Let's do it again. As usual, me and my uncle are going to build the free lineup on Friday, so make sure you look out for that video. Let's get straight into it, guys. At quarterback, Tom Brady versus the New York Jets. Now, the Jets secondary has been decent, but it's because teams aren't really having to throw too much on them. They're pretty much just getting up and then running a lot. So those numbers are a little skewed, but the Jets are allowing almost 2 passing touchdowns a game to quarterback. Tom Brady is a great play here, man. I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about game flow because when it comes to the Patriots, Belichick wants to run the score up on everybody. Plus, their defense is so bad that they have to score a ton of points to even have a chance to win. Okay, I expect the Jets to score. I like McCown, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, Jermaine Kearse. I like that Jets offense versus New England. I might sound crazy, but look, listen. In GPP, run up some McCown, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, Jermaine Kearse, maybe even some Robbie Anderson. All right, get involved in that. I love Tom Brady, man. I'm not going to fault you for paying up for Tom Brady at 83. If you have the money, do so. Next up, I'm not going to get too much into Aaron Rodgers. Yes, he's a good pick because he's Aaron Rodgers, but it's in Minnesota, so keep that in mind. And Minnesota is a very good team defensively. All right, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, but he can end up having a very mediocre game. I think Tom Brady is light years ahead of him, which I understand the $1,000 more that he costs. All right, the guy I like more than Aaron too is at 72. Drew Brees going against Detroit. Now, Detroit is a decent defense. They've been playing solid defense, man. The only 20-plus Draftkings points quarterback that they have allowed is Cam Newton in week 5. Drew Brees has that potential as well. At home in New Orleans, Drew Brees always goes crazy. He's always a contender to be able to put up those big games. He's got several weapons. He's got Willie Snead coming back. I would expect Darius Slay to be on Michael Thomas, which is going to open up a little bit for Snead as long as Snead is back, so keep an eye on that. But yeah, I like Drew Brees at 7,200. I think that game stays close. I love it, and I like the other side of that ball too with Matthew Stafford. Matt Ryan going against Miami. I'm not really feeling the game flow to play Matt Ryan. Julio's banged up. Sanu is banged up. Obviously, pay attention to those injuries. If Julio happens to miss and Sanu plays, Sanu's going to be a beast. Vice versa. If Sanu misses, that just adds more targets to Julio if he plays. So keep an eye on that injury situation. But I do like Devontae Freeman a lot in this game, but we'll get to him. Some other guys right here. These two guys, matter of fact, all four of these guys right here, from the 68 range to the 65 range, are guys that I'm probably going to be targeting the most. That's Kirk Cousins going against San Francisco. It's a great matchup. San Fran's been giving up 261 passing yards a game to quarterback, as well as damn near 2 passing touchdowns. Jared Goff, week 3, dropped 20 plus. Palmer dropped 20. Brissett dropped 21. Kirk Cousins can definitely do that at home in Washington. I love Kirk Cousins here against San Fran. And San Fran's got Kyle Shanahan, one of the best offensive coordinators in the league. He was also offensive coordinator for the Falcons last year, brought us to the Super Bowl, but he's also the reason we lost the Super Bowl. But he's the man, and he's going to get that San Francisco offense going. He's an amazing play caller. So that offense is going to keep up with Washington. This should be a really good game fantasy-wise. I like both sides of the ball. Deshaun Watson, as you can see with my thumbnail, I love Deshaun Watson today at home in Houston. Not today, Sunday. At home in Houston going against Cleveland, man. He's just been killing it. And Cleveland's been allowing over 2 passing touchdowns a game to quarterbacks. And Watson's going to get another 4+ touchdown game here. Kevin Hogan came in for Kaiser for Cleveland last week and actually played very solid. Houston's defense is banged up, just lost J.J. Watt for the entire season. So they're just banged up, man, and I think Cleveland's able to actually score, forcing Deshaun Watson to just keep throwing the ball. I love Deshaun Watson. I even like Lamar Miller in this offense, too. I like a lot of people in this offense. I love pairing Deshaun Watson up with DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. Those guys are great guys to pair with him. So, yeah, I love him. Phillip Rivers against Oakland. Derek Carr is supposedly going to be playing, so that helps the Oakland offense, which means this game should stay close. I like Phillip Rivers. I like Keenan Allen. Oakland's secondary has nobody to slow down Keenan. I definitely like it, man. I like Phillip Rivers. Matthew Stafford is one of my favorites. He got banged up, but Matthew Stafford's a tough guy. We all know he's going to be in there. He's going to play unless he's literally just broken in half. Okay, Stafford's going to play, and against New Orleans, it doesn't matter if Stafford lost his legs. He could wobble around the field and still throw for 300 against this New England secondary. So I love Matthew Stafford. Definitely lock in Matthew at 75. I love him. Pair him with Golden Tate, Theo Riddick, any of those guys, really. I love him paired up with any of his receivers. All right. Alex Smith has been playing very good football. Now, Pittsburgh's secondary has only been holding teams to 208 passing yards a game to quarterbacks. They've held, but this is who they've faced. Keenum, Glennon, Flacco, Bortles, and Kaiser. Okay, all those guys. Alex Smith has been playing light years ahead of all those guys. So I like Alex Smith, but I really, really, really like the run game here. I love Kareem Hunt, but we'll get to him. All right, let's go ahead and touch on some more guys real quick. I definitely want to mention Carson Palmer. We all know, man, since David Johnson left, they just brought in Adrian Peterson. But what is he honestly going to do? It's just they're going to throw. They're going to throw a lot. Okay, so I like Carson Palmer just because David Johnson's gone. All they do is throw now. So I like Carson Palmer versus that Tampa Bay secondary. Larry Fitzgerald is too big for Brent Grimes. Yes, Brent Grimes has a ridiculous vertical and he can jump high as hell, but he's still just not physical enough to hang with Larry Fitzgerald. Larry is the OG. He's got the old man strength, and he's going to get open, and I like that pairing a lot. All right, some other guys. Ben Roethlisberger had a very, very tough day against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's secondary is top in the league, though, man. Jalen Ramsey is a beast. So going against Kansas City, Kansas City's defense is also very, very good. So he's not getting a much better matchup here, guys. Kansas City is allowing 263 passing yards a game to quarterback. They just gave up that 35-point day to Deshaun Watson. I think Ben can definitely connect with Antonio a little bit here. I mean, Antonio is going to be guarded by a very good cornerback. We all know Kansas City's got that big dog over there, but Martavis Bryant, other weapons, Le'Veon Bell, they've got so many weapons on that offense. I would expect them to figure it out sooner than later. Okay, with that way they just got embarrassed by Jacksonville and the way Ben played, I would expect Ben to bring it up. I mean, I know he brought up in a comment, maybe I just don't have it anymore. That's what he said in an interview. I think that he actually is going to get it together. I know his home away splits are ridiculous and you don't really want to play him on the road, but I'm okay. At 57, I'm okay throwing him in a GPP just to see if he bounces back this week. All right. Josh McCown, guys. I talked about Josh McCown when I was talking about Brady. I like McCown a lot here, man, because New Orleans is worst in the league. They've given up 34, 25, 25, 37, and 21 through week 5. Those are all the numbers they've given up Draftkings points-wise. Josh McCown should have a very solid game. He's got Austin Seferian-Jenkins, great weapon. Jermaine Kearse is a good weapon. They've got multiple little weapons on the Jets, and New England is so bad with their secondary, yet so good with their offense, that the Jets are going to have to throw a lot to even keep it competitive. I expect a lot of Josh McCown here. He should have a solid game at 5,200. I like him a lot. Let's see who else I'm interested in. Brian Hoyer in that Washington game. I like it. He's got Kyle Shanahan as his coach. I expect that offense to really get it clicking. Pierre Garçon, love him. It's a great situation, man. So I like Brian Hoyer. I like that game in general. I like San Francisco-Washington game a lot. Anybody else I really want to get into, I'm not going to talk about Jay Cutler again. Even though my Jarvis Landry pick, I predicted he would get in the end zone, and he did get in the end zone, which was actually kind of crazy because he rarely does, but he did. I guess if you want to go GPP, I can't fault you. It's Atlanta, so you know they're going to score. It's in a dome, so, I mean, I can't fault you for going Cutler Jarvis, especially if Devontae Parker misses. So keep an eye on that for sure. All right, guys, let's go ahead and touch on running backs. That's enough for quarterback. At running back, my favorite play of the week at running back is Kareem Hunt. Going against Pittsburgh, honestly, Pittsburgh's allowing 109 rushing yards a game to quarterback and over a rushing touchdown a game. Kareem Hunt's been rushing the ball 17 plus times the past 3 games in a row. Pittsburgh just gave up 34 to Leonard Fournette, gave up 35 to Jordan Howard. Kareem Hunt's going to go crazy at 8,200. He's my favorite running back on the slate. Le'Veon Bell, of course, like I said, I would hope that Pittsburgh would try to get their offense going here. Kansas City is a very tough defense, okay? Very tough defense. So definitely keep that in mind, though. I'm not going to be playing much Le'Veon this week. I love Kareem Hunt for so much cheaper, so much more. Le'Veon's just too expensive with his matchup. Next up, I want to talk about Leonard Fournette going against the Rams. We know that the Rams, the way to beat them is by running the ball now, okay? The Rams gave up 29 to Ezekiel Elliott, gave 24 to Carlos Hyde. I love Leonard Fournette a lot versus the Rams. He is a great play. Melvin Gordon versus Oakland could be a solid play as well. Todd Gurley, one of my other favorites, going against Jacksonville. We all know Jacksonville's weakness, man. All right, Jacksonville's only weakness. Their secondary is stout. So you got to run the ball, man. I would expect a lot of Todd Gurley in this game, man. So Todd Gurley would have had a much better game against Seattle if it wasn't for that fumble right there on the goal line. Okay, he was going, he reached over and fumbled it right there. So not only did he not get the touchdown, but they took away the fumble points. So that sucks. But he should bounce back here against Jacksonville, especially after that down day. I would expect him to come together. Devontae Freeman versus Miami, I really, really, really like because I expect Atlanta to run the ball a lot versus Miami. Miami is solid versus the run so far this year, but they haven't seen a back quite like Devontae Freeman who can catch the ball and run the ball. Melvin Gordon, week 2, dropped 20 on him. I would expect the same kind of output from Devontae Freeman at home in Atlanta in that dome. Going against Miami. It's another thing that's just statistically known when it comes to Devontae Freeman. When he is in a dome, he is significantly better than when he's outside. So it's a great situation for Devontae. I run him up at 7,400. He's a great play. Obviously, keep an eye on that Green Bay running game going against Minnesota. Minnesota is a very good defense in general, so I hate picking on them. But still, you know Aaron Jones is going to get a lot of run if Ty does miss once again, okay? Ty broke his ribs, so you would think it would take a few weeks. So I would expect Aaron Jones to start, but either way, I'm not excited. But with Aaron Jones being cheap, I don't see why not. You know what I'm saying? All right, next up, let's go ahead and talk about... I'm not too interested in Hyde, by the way. Hyde got benched for Matt Breida last game. Keep an eye on that. They ended up benching Carlos Hyde. So definitely keep an eye on that. I love Jay Ajayi versus Atlanta. This has got to be when he gets it together, man. Atlanta's not good at all versus the run. Miami's offense is banged up. They just lost Devontae Parker. I would expect Jay Ajayi to get him heavily involved on the ground and even through the air. So I like Jay Ajayi a lot. Aaron Jones is 5,600. That still might be a little too high for me to go Green Bay run game versus Minnesota defense. To be honest with you, I like Mike Gillislee against the Jets, the bottom-ranked Jets versus the run, than I do Aaron Jones, just game script wise. I think Gillislee could easily get a few touchdowns with them being in the red zone and just running it heavily once they're up big. So Mike Gillislee could be a little sleeper at 55, a good little GPP play. Who else? Lamar Miller. I love Lamar Miller. I like this whole Houston offense versus Cleveland. I like Lamar Miller a lot versus Cleveland, man. Cleveland's been giving up over 112 rushing yards a game to running backs and over a touchdown a game to running backs. So I love Lamar Miller here in this matchup. He should be a very solid option as well. Arizona's been getting those Andre Ellington involved a lot in the pass game, which is very smart of them because Ellington is a very good pass catching running back, and they need to be using him for that reason and using him a lot. James White going against the Jets. You would prefer a game script where New England will have to throw a lot. Like I said, New England's offense is going to be firing no matter what. But in the case they get up, yes, Tom Brady will still be throwing, but I don't see them playing much James White in that situation. James outsnapped all the other running backs last game, but I would expect Gillislee to outdo him in this game if it turns out to be the game flow that I would expect. Duke Johnson, man. Like I said, Houston lost J.J. Watt. They're a banged-up defense. Cleveland's going to have to throw to stay in this. Now, the new quarterback, Kevin Hogan, that came in for Cleveland, he didn't target Duke Johnson much. Kaiser loves to check down to him. He didn't target him much. I would expect him to get that going, though, and the coaches be like, hey, man, you got Duke Johnson right there. Make sure you pay attention to him, and you're not just focused on the Njoku tight end guy. All right, make sure you focus on Duke. So they might go ahead and get him ready to start getting Duke Johnson involved going into Houston. Chris Thompson going against San Francisco. Man, I love this game period. I've mentioned it a few times already. I like the San Francisco side of the ball. I like the Washington side of the ball. I think this is going to be a good game in Houston. Chris Thompson is a very good option. I expect them both to be throwing a lot. Matt Breida, like I said, man, if they happen to come out and say that our boy Carlos Hyde is going to be benched, then Matt Breida is going to start. And at 4,700 against Washington, why not? I like that game in general. Bilal Powell got injured. He's banged up. Keep an eye on that. Elijah McGuire is going to get some run if he happens to miss. And he looked actually really good in his moments that he got. So I like Elijah McGuire at 46. He's a steal. Alvin Kamara has been getting involved in that New Orleans offense, man. So I love Alvin. I told you guys about Alvin that night. I think it was like a Monday night game, and then he finally broke out and has been going crazy. Alvin Kamara is a good option at 4,500 against Detroit. I expect them both to be throwing the ball a lot. Theo Riddick I could go for at 4,300. And then last but not least, Jerick McKinnon looked very good. It looks like they're going to really, Latavius Murray just still isn't right, it doesn't seem. Jerick McKinnon gets a lot of touches there, and he's a good pass-catching back as well. He's a solid option, man. And going against Green Bay, it's an amazing matchup too. And Sam Bradford probably will be missing as well. Expect the run game to be heavily featured. I love Jerick McKinnon at 41. That's an absolute steal. Before he went off, they made these prices, and it's a steal. Jerick McKinnon at 41 is an absolute steal, guys. All right, let's talk wide receivers. Let's get straight to the wide receivers, guys. We got several very good options. Julio Jones is banged up right now. I'm not going to talk much about him. Even if he played, I wouldn't be super big into him because, like I said, can Miami even move the ball at all is the question. But I would play him if he plays. So keep an eye on that. Antonio Brown versus Kansas City. He's going to be matched up with one of the best corners in the league. So keep that in mind. But Antonio Brown is Antonio Brown. He's going to get so many targets. He does solid every week. But 9,300, I don't know, man. I'd rather go 81 and go DeAndre Hopkins versus Cleveland in that matchup. I love DeAndre. Cleveland's been giving up a lot to wide receivers. They have no body, all right? Next up, let's talk about Keenan Allen in Oakland. I talked about that game. Now that Derek Carr is back, Oakland should be able to score more. And so this game's going to end up being a shootout type potential. Keenan Allen is a good beneficiary of the shootout. All right, he gets tons of targets from Phillip Rivers. Brandon Cooks going against the Jets. Like I said, man, New England's going to throw the ball nonstop. Once they get up big, I like Mike Gillisley to possibly get in the end zone. But until then, while they're throwing the ball, Brandon Cooks is definitely going to be involved. I would rather go cheaper and go Hogan and Amendola just because they're cheaper and they've been getting a lot of targets as well. So I would prefer to go that route, but I'm not going to fault you for going Brandon Cooks. Stephon Diggs is banged up, so keep an eye on that. I would expect him to play, him and Adam Thielen, but they won't have Sam Bradford most likely. We all know Bradford gets flicked and he's out for a few weeks, so keep an eye on that. Michael Thomas is going to be matched up with Darius Slay, who is one of the better cornerbacks in the league. Like I said, guys, keep an eye on whether Willie Snead is going to play. If Willie Snead is active, he's going to be an amazing play here. Michael Thomas is going to be matched up with Slay. That's going to put Detroit's second corner trying to stop Willie Snead. And we all know Willie had some huge games when he was healthy. So here he comes back. Hopefully he comes back this week and he has an amazing immediate impact. Jordy Nelson going against Minnesota. Here's the deal. Jordy's going to see a lot of Xavier Rhodes. That's going to open up Randall Cobb. So if I'm going to play any Green Bay receiver, it would be Randall Cobb out of the slot. I love Randall out of the slot. Obviously, Devontae Adams miraculously came back from that injury and played very good. Yeah, and if Xavier Rhodes pairs up specifically on Jordy, then I love Devontae and Randall. The question is, are they going to put Xavier on Jordy, or are they going to try to have Jordy follow Devontae Adams because he's been the main guy in that Green Bay receiving core? I would expect them just to put him on Jordy since that Jordy-Rodgers connection is lethal and ends up being good for Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb. So, yeah, I like those two guys. Chris Hogan, I talked about him when I talked about Brady. I like Chris Hogan. I like Danny Amendola in this past game. I like him a lot. Mike Evans is going to have the Peterson effect on him. I can see 3 catches for 46 yards and no touchdowns for Mike Evans. Look for Deshaun Jackson to possibly get over the top. So keep an eye on that. Golden Tate going against New Orleans. Great matchup, man. I talked about this. New Orleans, man, like I said, Matt Ryan could have no arms and he could just throw it with his nub and get 300 yards against New Orleans. That's how bad their secondary is. So Golden Tate's going to be great. Larry Fitzgerald versus Tampa Bay. I talked about Brent Grimes being too small to handle Larry Fitzgerald, and I believe that. At 6,800, Larry Fitzgerald's a good option. Jarvis Landry against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I kind of like the Falcons' defense here, but I think Jarvis Landry has a very solid game just off receptions because I would expect Devontae Parker with the ankle injury to not play. We'll have to see. But it's looking like Jarvis might be the only guy. Jarvis and Ajayi might be the only guys there. And I expect Jarvis to just get peppered with targets. So I love Jarvis Landry at 66 against Atlanta. Tyreek Hill will be matched up with Joe Hayden on that Pittsburgh secondary. But Tyreek Hill is just too quick. But Joe Hayden is an experienced, very good cornerback who possibly could put some pressure on him. Here's the way to beat Tyreek Hill. You have to be physical with him at the line. He has to know that you're going to damn near put him on his ass as soon as the ball is hiked. He needs to know because if you let him bolt right by you, quarterback's going to hit him often. But if you put that pressure on him in the beginning, quarterback's not going to have time to wait for him to get open and use that speed to his advantage. So I would expect Joe Hayden to play him smart here. I love Kareem Hunt in this game. I've talked about the San Francisco-Washington game often. Josh Norman is hurt, so that's going to open the door for Pierre Garçon and these San Francisco receivers to do well. No, I'm not playing Trent Taylor ever again in my life, to answer your question. That free line that me and my uncle made dropped 156 with a 1.5 from Trent Taylor. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Love Pierre Garçon. Adam Thielen versus Green Bay. Love it. Regardless of the quarterback, Thielen was still getting targeted. Randall Cobb, I talked about that, man. Rhodes is going to be on Jordy or Devontae. Randall Cobb's going to have a great game, and he looked good versus Dallas as well. Deshaun Jackson a little banged up. I would expect him to play, though. Going against Arizona, he is the one with the better matchup. Neither of them have good matchups, but out of Mike Evans or Deshaun Jackson has that deep ball. He has that potential to beat him over the top, so keep an eye on that at 5,800. That could be good. Devontae Adams, like I said, at 5,700 could be a good option as long as Rhodes is focused on Jordy. Okay. Michael Crabtree's got his boy Carr back. He's going to be a solid option as well. We got multiple options at receiver, guys. Terrell Pryor at home in Washington. Love it. I talked about this game multiple times. I love this game right here. Danny Amendola, another New England wide receiver that I love pairing him with Chris Hogan. I love Danny Amendola. He's been getting a lot of targets. Will Fuller. I love pairing DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller with our boy Watson. I love it, okay? I love it. These guys are going to get in the end zone. Mark my words. All right? Amari Cooper, let's see if he can finally get it together. I would expect him to eventually get it together, guys. All right? So Amari is good. He's only GPP because he hasn't shown consistency yet, but I like Amari. Let's keep going down. Willie Snead, if he plays, love him. He's going to have the better matchup in that matchup. Jermaine Kearse. Like I said, man, McCown's going to be heaving the ball all around against New England. Jermaine Kearse should be a beneficiary of that at 4,800. Martavis Bryant, I talked about Antonio dealing with some tough cornerback matchup. It's going to open up Martavis for the better looks. So at 47, that's a good little option. I wouldn't mind Marvin Jones as well. I like Marvin. Robbie Anderson and GPP for the Jets' offensive attack going against New England could be a good one as well. Other than that, I mean, just looking at it, nobody really sticks out. I mean, Watkins is going to be matched up with your boy Ramsey, who has been one of the best cornerbacks in the league so far this year. Sammy Watkins is only 41, though. That's a crazy cheap price. But like I said, man, it's very tempting. But I like Gurley in this matchup. Anybody else I want to talk about? Jamison Crowder could definitely be used, guys. I like him. Cooper Kupp works out of the slot. Ramsey won't be dealing with him, so he could get a few catches, but he still just isn't. Yeah, I'm all Todd Gurley in this matchup. And that's it, guys. That's it. Let's go ahead and move on to tight end, and then we'll briefly touch on some defenses we like. All of the top three guys are banged up. Gronk, Kelsey, and Reed. Out of the three, I love Travis Kelce versus Pittsburgh. I love Kelsey versus Pittsburgh. He's just been heavily involved, so keep an eye on that. Check how their injuries end up going throughout the week. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now because it's Monday, things change, or Tuesday, things change. So definitely check back by the end of the week. As you guys know, we do the fantasy hour-long locker room podcast in the middle of the week, which I'll be dropping in the next few days, and then Friday we'll be doing the lineup build. So by Friday, we're going to know all these injury stuff when we're creating the lines. All right, Austin Seferian-Jenkins is one of my favorite tight end plays, though, at 4,300. Like I said, man, Jets are going to be heaving it a lot. I expect Jenkins to get in the end zone once or even possibly twice versus New England. Great play. Hunter Henry's another tight end I'll be looking at. I like Hunter Henry's matchup against Oakland. Some cheaper guys. George Kittle got involved heavily for San Francisco last week. Going against Washington, I would expect him to continue to have to throw. So expect Kittle to be solid at 3,400. Kobe Fleener versus Detroit could be a solid option. And then these last two guys I want to talk about. David Njoku, he got heavily involved with our boy Kevin Hogan once Hogan came in. Hogan will most likely get the start week 6 against Houston. So expect Njoku to have a good game here as well. With J.J. Watt out, there's just going to be less pressure on the quarterback. So Eric Ebron in this matchup against New Orleans is the final tight end I want to talk about at the bare minimum price. Njoku and Ebron should not be 3,000. Njoku's got an amazing matchup. He's way too cheap. So I like those two guys. And I really, really like at the top, if I'm going to pay up for tight end, I would either go Travis Kelce or Austin Seferian-Jenkins, honestly. Or possibly Jordan Reed if he ends up playing, but Jordan Reed's just a headache to deal with. So I try not to even consider him because he's just always hurt. Last but not least, let's talk defenses, guys. I'm going to give you guys a few. I do expect Cleveland's offense to do fine. They just lost J.J. Watt. Kevin Hogan looks solid. I would expect them to be okay. Baltimore Ravens versus Chicago. I like them versus Trubisky at home in Baltimore. I think the Ravens defense is going to be very good at 3,700. Keep an eye out for that Falcons D. Could be a good defense to play at home in Atlanta going against this Miami offense that's just been struggling. Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Rams. I do love Todd Gurley, but still, as long as the Rams try to throw the ball, they're in danger. All right, I like the Jacksonville Jaguars D. None of these other defense are really sticking out to me as I'm looking at them, honestly. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the top teams. I'm gonna stick with the Ravens, Falcons, Jaguars. Yeah, Ravens, Jaguars, or Falcons are my three favorite options this week, guys. Kevin Hogan looks solid, like I said, so I'm not on that Houston train at 3,900 quite yet. I do like that their offense is scoring enough to force teams to throw so they can force turnovers. I like that aspect of it, but I'm not sure if I love this Houston defense yet going against Kevin Hogan, who looked like a solid option there, guys. And that Houston defense is also banged up. So we'll have to see, man. We'll see by the end of the week how things change, all right? Make sure you guys check back out the videos throughout the week. Make sure you like that video. Let's do it. Let's see how close we can get to 1,000, man. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to join the squad for the VIP lines, like I said, me and my uncle are coming together on these lines this week. Let's see how crazy we can go. All right, let's get it, guys. I'm out. Thank you guys for watching.